Welcome to the Happiness Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Puff. Have you ever been having an off day? You just weren't feeling well. Inside, something seemed wrong. So you decided to reach out to some friends, get together, and hang out? And what did you discover? I bet you discovered you felt better. Why does this work so well? Or in other words, why are good friends so important to our emotional state and can change an unhappy day into a good day? I remember when I really noticed this for the first time in a significant way when I was at university, away from my family and friends, and I didn't know a lot of people at the university yet. I wasn't living in the dorms because my grandparents lived in the town where my university was at, so I lived with them. So it was hard for me to meet new people. Well, I knew I needed to do something about my sadness, my loneliness, so I discovered they had intramural soccer. And though I'd never played soccer before, I decided to do that. They held events twice a week, and I would go regularly. And I started meeting new people and new friends. And it really helped me increase my sense of being positive and happy at my new university. And really ever since that time, I've made a consistent effort of staying connected with my friends. But why does this work so well? Do you know that one of the longest studies in history has actually discovered that friends or staying connected is incredibly important? The study began in 1938 in Harvard and is still going on, and it's entitled The Harvard Study of Adult Development. And when it began, it had 724 participants. And now, many years later, there are still approximately 60 men left, all in their 90s. The men were chosen from various economic backgrounds, some from the poorest areas of Boston, and some were Harvard undergraduates. And then over the decades, about every 2 years, the researchers would find these men and interview them, and interview their families about how life was going, what was working for them, what wasn't, and lots of information about their lives. Well, on this podcast, we're wanting to learn about happiness. So what did they discover in regards to happiness? Who were the men that were unhappy, and who were the men that ended up being happy? And I really love what they saw. They saw an association between happiness and close relations. In other words, the men that had close relationships with their family, with their friends, and with their social circles, they did better. They were happier. So what they discovered was that connections with close personal friends were mood boosters, and those where the friends weren't close or they were isolated, they were mood destabilizers. When these men were in positive, healthy relationships, they felt happier. And when they were isolated or in negative relationships, they described their lives as less happy. This Harvard study is probably one of the best studies done in history. It is well worth noting and thinking about in our own lives. Are we connected and making time for close, positive relationships with family and friends? Because if we're not, then we may find our journey with happiness much harder. So the question we want to focus on in this podcast is, how do we stay connected? How do we meet good people, connect with good people, and keep good people, positive people in our lives? I will admit it is work, but it's worth the effort. And if we truly believe this study, which is one of the best studies done in history, not only is it going to be helpful, it's going to work. Now, if you're an extrovert, you're going to say, of course this is true, Dr. Puff. I need my friends. They're important. But some of us are introverts, including myself. And I've discovered over the years that though I like to be by myself sometimes, I definitely need to stay connected with good friends and family. It's always been something very important to me that I know if I get too isolated, it doesn't go well for me. Having friends and staying connected is very important for all of us. Well, the one thing I'd like to do here on this podcast is stay very practical. So let's talk about the steps of finding good friends and keeping good friends, because again, it is important. Well, the first thing we need to do is get out there and connect with people. And the first place we want to start with is the people already in our lives. Are there family members? Are there friends that we know and we see periodically? We think, oh, they really are good people. They're positive, they're uplifting. I always feel better when I'm with them. I need to reach out to them and connect with them more and see if we can get together more often. I want to use the analogy of eating organic fruits and vegetables. Everyone knows they're really good for us and we should eat them often. And good friends are like that. But we may have some in our house or available to us at the local store. But if we never go there and eat them, it's pointless. And it's like that with people in our lives right now. We may have some really great people in our lives, but we don't make an effort for them. We do other things instead when we realize I really need to reach out to these people and connect with them. And I need to stay connected with them because it's good for my soul. It will create a deeper sense of happiness inside of me. So if we're going to do this, we have to take the effort and make the time to make this happen. We have to call people. We have to reach out to them. We have to set up dates where we meet them and connect with them. We have to go visit them. We have to go on vacation with them. We have to get together with them. These are important steps towards creating happiness in our lives. Now again, I want to remind us, they have to be good friends, friends that add to our life. It's a difference between having fried food for dinner and having fruits and vegetables. We want that people in our lives, after we're with them, we feel better. They create a sense of happiness and joy in our lives because they're positive and uplifting, not mood busters and downers. Those aren't the people we want to have in our lives. And again, we may not have any right now, but if we think about it, there probably is someone in our life, or several, that we can begin to reach out to. Now, they may be full. They may not have time for us. So what we do then is we broaden our net of finding people. But when we do find them, it is effort. It takes time. One of the things that I've made a priority is with my positive friends and family. I reach out to them regularly. I talk to them. I call them. I get together with them. I make a concerted effort of seeing them and connecting with them regularly. It can take a lot of time and effort, but to me it's worth it. So this is a really good place to start. Are there people in my life that I could start reaching out to on a more regular basis? Most likely there are. There's probably someone in our lives that really would work well for us, that we can stay connected with. And as they give positively to us, we give positively to them too. Because not only do we need to stay connected with good, positive people, we need to be that good, positive person too. I mean, if we're the downer in the group, people may not want to hang out with us anymore either. So we do need to work on all the skills we're learning here on the Happiness Podcast. But when we learn them, then we find others first in our immediate circle that we can connect with, and if we have time, make them a priority in our lives. But sometimes our circle of friends are just small, or we need new ones because the friends we have perhaps aren't the best for us. Or sometimes friends move far away, or they pass, and we need to meet new ones. And the best way we can do this is by doing things that we're passionate about and meeting people there. And then when we meet them, connect with them, and start getting together with them and create a really healthy, positive relationship with these new people. Many years ago, I met one of my best friends at a hiking club event. I was out hiking with other people that I didn't know, and he and I just connected. We had a really close bond immediately. And then we started meeting up outside of the group. And even though he's moved across the United States, we still meet up several times a year and talk regularly. One other thing that I'm very passionate about is meditation. And over the years, I've held a lot of groups that are about meditation, inviting new people to come. It started off in my home, and now I hold it in my office in Newport. And some of my best friends that I, again, connect with regularly, I've met through this group, my meditation group. Find groups where you're doing things that you're passionate about and meet new friends, because friends are important. Good friends, staying connected with these good friends is one of the key factors of happiness. And if the Harvard study is correct, which it's one of the best studies done in history, then staying connected is a key essential part of our happiness. We need to make sure that we're connecting with others. And if there aren't people in our lives, then we do things that we're passionate about. And at these things that we enjoy, we have to take a risk and say, hey, I'd like to get to know you better. We probably wouldn't say it quite like that. But what we would do is perhaps invite them to talk for a little bit afterwards. Maybe say, hey, you want to grab lunch sometime? We have to take that risk. And that risk can be so rewarding because it may end up that we meet our best friend, our good friends for the future. And when we take that risk, then our need for relationships, staying connected, will be met. And it will be met well. And when it's met well, our level of happiness will improve. And I do want to add one thing that the Harvard study didn't mention when it comes to staying connected and creating friendships that are good for our soul. And that's animals. Our pets can be some of the best friends that we'll ever have. I want us to be careful that they're not our only friends, because we all know people, or I've heard of people, that all they have is pets. But I still think that's better than being totally isolated. Pets are such comfort to our soul. And when it comes to staying connected, we can stay connected with our pets. And often the beautiful thing about our pets is they truly love us unconditionally. So when we are journeying through life and we're feeling somewhat alone, sometimes bringing home an animal and our pets can really help us stay connected with others. And if we have a dog and we're out walking it, we can meet others that have dogs and connect with them too. Do you remember the story from Disney, The Lady and the Tramp? It's about two owners that have two dogs. The dogs fall in love, and so do the owners. Our connections are really important. We have to make time for them. We have to put in effort with them. If we take on a pet, their work, their commitment, we have to make a place and a home for our pets. And as we journey through life, may we all stay connected with someone or a few people that add joy and beauty to our lives. And because of impermanence, how life changes, we need to make sure that we make space for new friends too. Because sometimes friends come and sometimes they go. But if we develop the skill knowing that friendships are important, that relationships matter, then we'll always make time for that. And when someone does leave, we'll make room and space for someone new. But may we all stay connected with someone through life and find happiness on our journey in life. Thank you for joining me on the Happiness Podcast. If you are finding these episodes helpful, I would love for you to share your experience with others. The easiest way for new people to listen to this podcast is just refer them to www.happinesspodcast.org. That's happinesspodcast.org. Or if you want to do more and leave a review, on that site you'll find a Yelp link, a Google Plus link, a testimonial link, or perhaps even the site you're listening to this podcast on. Often you can leave reviews there too. The reviews are an awesome way to encourage people to start listening to the Happiness Podcast. And until next time, accept what is, love what is. Do you ever wonder why some companies do so well, grow, and just seem to keep coming up with great ideas and keep expanding, while other companies are permeated with negativity, lawsuits, employee turnover, and just overall unhappiness in the workplace? Whichever corporate camp you find yourself in, or somewhere in between, The key to any company's ongoing success is to invest in and help their employees perform at their peak performance. There are very clear and specific things that people can do to perform well at work and in life in general. This is the focus of my podcast, and it's also the focus of my work. Being at the cutting edge of any market is sustained through investment in training employees how to perform well. But sustained growth and productivity requires specific psychological tools in order to continue to perform at peak levels. This is where I can help. I've been studying peak performance for over 30 years now, helping people all over the world. And there are very specific things that have to be maintained in order to sustain this level of performance. When companies invest in their employees are invested in them. Unfortunately, it's quite common for companies to be doing exceptionally well in the marketplace, but for unknown reasons, key employees make poor choices, leave the company, or start struggling in coping with stress-related illnesses. Companies that do well know their business really well, but human behavior works in mysterious ways unless you've been trained to understand the causes and cures of underperformance. If you're a forward-thinking company, perhaps it's time to think about giving your employees skills that may really help them perform well at work and throughout their lives. If you work for or manage a company, and you're ready to learn the skills in order to survive and thrive in any market, in any conditions, or in life in general, I'd love to help. These are the skills I've learned. These are the ones I'd love to bring to your company. True lasting success has to be seen from a broader perspective, not just monetary. And if you're ready to bring about these changes, that's where I can help. To learn more, go to www.successbeyondyourimaginationcom. That's successbeyondyourimaginationcom. And whether we're at the doorstep of retirement or have many years to go, may we always be growing and be developing our skills not only as successful employees, but as successful human beings.